Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jack.
And Tabby Cat. And today we're going to do a video on conspiracy theories.
Fun.
Recently, Shane Dawson has uploaded a video with some very interesting and intriguing conspiracy theories.
As usual.
Well, yeah. And some of them are Justin Bieber and Post Malone the same person. Really weird. The biggest one that got me, though, is the Earth flat? I know that might sound crazy. And at first, to me, it did sound crazy. But once I watched that video, it was like, okay, maybe it's not as crazy as I thought it would sound. And he actually just got done watching that video so that we could talk about it here and kind of share our thoughts and reactions with you guys of how we felt about if the Earth is flat or not. And our responses to, is the Earth flat? And other conspiracy theories and whatnot. So, what is wrong with you?
You can see the reflection of my phone in my glasses.
Well, yeah. That's part of wearing glasses, huh? Now we can just see your phone. Did I scare you?
No, I don't get scared.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about this whole is the Earth flat thing. What things stood out to you that they were talking about whether the Earth is flat or not?
Drugs.
Well.
And Antarctica. That part.
Okay, yeah, that stood out to me. And then when they showed the diagram of how it's like the flat Earth and then it's a dome, and then the heavens are above the dome and stuff like that, it's really hard to argue with that. And then another part that really got my attention, aside from the Earth is flat, is how they said that the moon landing didn't actually happen. It was all staged. Kind of weird. Kind of freaky, but not completely impossible. Snap out of it.
Sorry, I'm still trying to comprehend that video I just watched.
Well, it was a lot. It really was. And it was a very long video, but it was worth it. So, yeah, the Earth is flat or round. When they were talking about how they would have to take the pictures of it, we can only get a certain percentage of the Earth at a time in an image. So you have to go around, take one image, go around again, take one image again. There's gaps. And where it was showing, like, where it could be photoshopped out, where there was, like, two of the same clouds side by side, and stuff like that, it's like, okay, you have a point.
That's the Band-Aid tool. The healing tool, actually.
Well, again, is it photoshopped? And it's not an actual image, it's a composite image. They didn't physically take a camera out there and go click and take a picture of the Earth. They had to put it all together.
Several pictures.
Right. So, on that note, it makes it really hard to kind of understand for some people whether or not it's like, is this an actual image? Or is this just something made up by the government? And they talked about, well, why would the government want us to think the Earth is flat?
Well, in the video it was talking about how they want us to think it's round because if it was flat, it would give us a sense of purpose. Although that part really doesn't make sense to me because...
Well, think about it. The way they explained it, and you have to think about it on a deeper level too, is if you know, like the example he gave was the moon. Say the moon was made for you. The moon knew your name. You would respect the moon on a personal level in that case because the moon knows your name. But in this sense, the moon doesn't know your name. The moon has nothing to do with you. It's just there. It's just what it is. But the flat Earth situation has a lot to do with that universal type thing, where they're talking about having a personal connection with the moon or the sun or anything like that. And another way he explained it, which was very interesting, is you got to think planet is the word plane with a T. Think about that for a second. Another thing is the other planets, are those flat too? If the Earth is actually flat and they made a composite image of that, who's to say they didn't make a composite image of the other planets? I mean, think about it. And they were talking about the horizons and stuff. No matter how far out you look, no matter how tall you are, how high you are, you don't see a curve. It just kind of goes off in the distance because you can only see but so far away. And the taller or shorter you are, you still see the same horizon. So it's kind of weird. Thoughts? Personal responses to the Earth is flat theory. I'll let you talk. Or other conspiracy theories. We can move on to a different one if you want to. But first, if you want to move on, I have to ask you, do you now, after watching that video, believe the Earth is flat?
I'm going to go with no. Even after watching that. Even though it did provide some good things, I just don't believe it.
Okay. I personally, I don't know. I'm in between. Because a lot of things point to yes, and then a lot of things point to no. It's very confusing, and it's not that I don't want to be a flat earther or a round earther or whatever. It's not part of that. It's just, I'm going to need more evidence that the Earth is flat, or that the Earth is round. Right? Personally, it ain't got nothing to do with me. I can't control that. It doesn't affect my life. I'm still going to continue living my life the same way I was before I watched this. But it is very interesting, and it's a good topic to discuss that, gives you a break from politics and religion and everything else. Just talk about if the Earth is flat or not. That's a good discussion to have with your friends. And if you say, oh, I think the Earth is flat, your friends are going to look at you like, what? Or some of your friends are going to be like, you do. So, yeah. Are there some theories you'd like to discuss?
Aliens. Actually, there's one that honestly does get me fired up. Now, I can't say I believe it or disbelieve it. I'd like to believe it, but the chances of it actually being true is very slim. But, not time pockets. Where
explain yourself.
you're, it's another form of not nostalgia, Deja vu.
Okay.
Where you think you've experienced this before. Chances are that you may have. You slipped through a time pocket and you could see into the future. But then when you come back, your brain hasn't fully comprehended that. So you just forget it until it actually happens. And then you remember it.
Okay. That is kind of interesting. I haven't actually physically or come across that specific theory, but I'm definitely not opposed to the idea of it, just because deja vu is a very strange thing. Because maybe at some point in your life when you were younger, yes, you did see or live that specific scenario, and now you're just in that same situation again, or something strikes that memory in your head. It just doesn't go exactly how it went when you were a kid or in another life, per se. I have seen a lot of things where they talk about specifically deja vu, not the time pockets, but kind of saying, well, what if the reason why you had deja vu is because the life that you previously lived, that happened in your life, and now you're having deja vu because of it, because it's happened before. And you gotta think, the light that you see when you die is the light that you see when you come to life. Trippy. So, something to think about because it messed with me for a little while, and I was like, what if that actually does happen? And another thing is, like, sometimes you dream these things, and it ends up being deja vu because you dreamed it before, and you're like, okay, where'd this come from? I didn't actually do this, so it had to be a dream that you just kind of don't remember, because every night you dream, but your brain doesn't remember every dream that you have. So, deja vu is a weird thing. Time pockets, I haven't personally looked into that or heard about that.
Actually, let's see if I can find some stuff on my phone.
Okay. I'm definitely intrigued by
time
this.
Time pocket theory?
Yeah. Time pocket, conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
What?
Lincoln Pocket Watch.
Oh, this is not what we're looking for. This is like talking about actual pockets and things that go in pockets.
Time Rift.
You could say deja vu theories.
But that's not exactly what I'm looking for.
That's on Amazon.
That's a book.
You gotta read the fine print.
Bernstein's Bears? No. Okay. Well, another one, relative to time, is black holes.
Okay. I'm very curious about the black hole, because that was something that was touched on in school but was never fully
But there's also things called white holes.
Okay.
Those do the opposite of a black hole. They push everything out.
Right.
So what if the black hole goes to a white hole? And those are, not only could it like be in another time period, because it's swallowing space itself.
Right.
Which means it's also swallowing the time. Which means it can be in an infinite number of times. It can be in every time all at once.
You have a point.
Because it's swallowing up. And they say light travels, whatever, that all the stars could even be dead right now, but the light hasn't traveled to us. So what if the black holes we see in the cameras are the light, and lack of light that's reflected from us from millions of years ago, from before the Big Bang?
Okay.
And if we were to go to it, we would be able to come out and see the Big Bang, if that's a thing that actually happened.
Right. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm kind of digging that idea, that whole theory.
But another one with the white hole thing, you could go through it, and maybe it could take you even farther into space and come out the white hole.
That's definitely one that would be interesting to do some researching on. I wonder, maybe there's other people who have thought of this idea, kind of. You know, maybe they have some information on it that would explain it even more in depth. I've never really thought of the black hole that way. I just thought of it as something that was swallowing everything in space, kind of thing. But I mean, it could have a whole lot more meaning than that. Again, just a theory, but you never know.
Oh, another thing about the black hole that I completely forgot about this. As you get closer to a black hole, say you're on a spaceship, a long ways spaceship, the part that's closest to the black hole, their time is running much slower than those at the front of the ship. So, these ones only maybe a couple hours have passed, but on this side of the ship, 3 years may have passed.
Right. That's trippy. That'd be a weird situation to be in, too. Space is such a weird thing to think
I just looked up.
There's just so much that's unknown about space.
To a distant observer, clocks near a black hole appear to tick more slowly than those further away from the black hole. Just what I was talking about. Due to this effect, known as gravitational time dilation, an object falling into a black hole appears to slow as it approaches the event horizon, taking in infinite time to reach it.
So basically saying the closer it gets, the slower it gets, which means it never truly makes it there?
Yeah, because it's traveling through all of time.
Right.
It's literally in all time itself.
Weird. I like it. I like conspiracy theories. Like, since I've recently started getting into them, the more that I see them, the more they start to make sense. Just like I personally, like, I have the conspiracy theory that there's a cure for cancer. But I also think that there's a cure for AIDS and other diseases that they say we don't have a cure for. But you have to look at it this way. And again, it's a theory, an opinion. It doesn't necessarily mean it's true. And a lot of people believe this, but look at the government. Look at the people in the Senate, in the House. How many of them have died of cancer? AIDS?
U.S. government, by the way.
How many? Think about it. Then, another theory I seen where they were talking about Sony.
Oh, yeah.
With the whole Michael Jackson, Prince, Kesha, what are they called? Fifth Harmony? The girl from Fifth Harmony who was really upset because she couldn't do it anymore or whatever.
And all
Slave on Prince's
K-pop
face.
stars.
Yeah, that too. And then he pointed out that Kanye was starting to use the term slavery a lot. Now, that could be for a totally different meaning. But the way that it was explained in this video, and you should definitely go watch this video to kind of understand what we're talking about, because if you haven't seen it, you're kind of just going off of our reactions and our responses to it. But you should definitely check out this video and just kind of pay attention to what they say and how they explain the whole slave theory idea with Sony Music. And he also pointed out that after Prince and Michael Jackson both had come out and said that Sony was controlling and all this other stuff, notice both of them died. Michael Jackson's death was ruled a homicide when it was originally said an overdose. Prince's was said an overdose, and they haven't said his was a homicide, but I wouldn't put that to rest yet. I'm just saying, are you eating pepperonis and cheese?
Mm-hmm.
But just, you got to think about it that way, because the way they explain it, and then the way that the government or media, more than the government doesn't really have much to do with that. It's more media than anything. The way the media portrays it is they did it to themselves. Did Sony pay the media to say that? Maybe, maybe not. It's really weird how these things happen. Kesha, she tried to get away from somebody that she was very uncomfortable working with, and Sony, and the judge of that case, ruled that she had to keep working with that person in that contract. She signed the contract. Did Sony pay the judge to say that? Who knows? Again, conspiracies.
Alright, I have a way to bring this something that you'd actually would be interested in. 21 Pilots and the whole slave to the music industry. Remember when they were talking about Tyler is working his ties with Dima?
Yes. Did we cover that topic in a discussion?
I don't know.
I think we briefly discussed it, but we didn't go in depth.
What if that was just another way of him saying that he's trying to get away from being a slave to music by Dima being trapped in that tower?
Maybe not so much the slave to music, but the industry of music.
The industry.
Because, Tyler loves music. He loves making music, and he loves sharing it with us. But it's the industries that make these artists so unhappy. It's not them. It's the industry. Because what they say goes once you sign that contract. You can't really get out of it, obviously. So, I mean, yeah, I could see where Tyler is trying to kind of hint towards, I'm stuck in this situation that I can't get out of. And maybe he's currently trying to fix that. Maybe that's why we haven't heard anything from them. Maybe that's why they took a break. Because they needed that time to
They went on they did go on 3 tours back to back.
Which is a lot. And with all the theories of 21 Pilots coming out with a new album and all this other stuff, it's just like, I get it. I'm excited. We're all excited. But you gotta let the boys release the music when they're ready. And you know when they release it, it's gonna be amazing. And shortly after that, there will be a tour and they will be back. And everybody will be happy again. I just tweeted today on my Twitter, my personal Twitter, that I was missing 21 Pilots. So it's very crazy that you brought that up. But it's weird to think about if these artists are truly happy. Are these people truly creating music the way they want to do it? Or are they having to do it the way that the industry says? The way the government says it has to go? And even the weird stuff where they were talking about how they play certain pitches in... What is wrong with you? Certain pitches in songs to attract different crowds of people. Where they were talking about the audio illusions with Yanni and Laurel.
Yeah,
by the way, hashtag both, because I can hear both. Both? What did you hear?
Both. I've heard both.
Yeah.
It's just depending on the pitch they're playing it as.
That, and I can hear both in the same one.
I can't do that.
Call me crazy. But I can. If you listen to the original track that was released, when it says Yanni is in a higher pitch and Laurel is deeper behind Yanni. If you focus hard enough, you can hear both at the same time, which is where I'm at. I can hear both, and some people can't hear it at all on one side or the other. So it's crazy to kind of sit there and think, like, we all hear different things. Are you going to play it?
Yes. If. So, are you having a good day today?
Fantastic. Once I got off work, I was good to go.
It's a bad video. It doesn't actually just let us listen to it. Somebody describing it. Original. Okay, here we go.
Ooh,
I hear Laurel.
I'm hearing both again. Listen behind Yanni. Or behind...
That's what I'm trying to do.
It's so weird.
I can hear it both now. Yanni. Okay.
So, yeah, like I said, there's just weird things, and then there's the whole theory where they released that to distract us from whatever else is going on, but you also got to pay attention to the fact that nothing happened after the Yanni Laurel video soundtrack thing. Literally nothing. So, whatever. I don't think that it was to distract anybody. I think it was just somebody released this, and it just so happened that everybody was like, oh my gosh, I hear this, I hear that. Just like the black and blue and the white and gold dress. We all seen different colors of that dress. Personally, I seen black and blue. My parents seen white and gold.
I saw black and blue.
See? We have two different color eyes, so you can't blame it on that. And we had it on the same phones, showing it on the same phone. Me and my mom had the same cell phone at the time. And we were still seeing two different colors. No matter what screen we looked at, I seen black and blue, and she seen white and gold. It's weird. It just blows my mind. So all these theories and just these ideas, and they all come from so many different people, but personally, you have to choose, okay, do I believe this or do I believe that? Or that makes a lot of sense, or that just sounds ridiculous. Now, some of them do, just like, which one did we see that 9/11 was a hoax? That was staged.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that one. That one kind of messes with me. So, he's looking up the dress, the infamous dress that pissed everybody off.
I think this one was the original.
Yeah.
I still see black and blue.
Yeah, plain as day. It's just weird. Like, why? How do you see white and gold? I just don't get it.
Here's a meme.
A meme?
Mm-hmm. If I can actually find it.
He's struggling.
Oh.
So have you thought of any theories yourself that you haven't seen people discuss online?
Besides the whole black hole and time pocket stuff.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I've thought of any myself that...
Most of the conspiracy theories I actually find, I end up just finding from watching like Shane Dawson and recommended videos.
I do enjoy watching his conspiracy theory videos just because he explains them when he does it. I personally don't know of any that I've thought of myself. How do you have to throw things at people? That's gonna be loud.
It is.
And you still missed. Anyway, was there any other specific ones that we wanted to talk about?
Not that I know of.
I can't personally think of any that were really interesting that would actually be worth talking about. So you don't think the Earth is flat?
No.
Do you believe that Post Malone and Justin Bieber are the same person?
Almost definitely.
Totally. No. Okay, what's some other ones? Do you think 9/11 was fake?
I mean, the tower's missing, so I'd say no.
My point exactly. Where'd the tower go then? Was it just a figment of our imagination? I think not. Okay. What are some other ones? 21 Pilots, do you think that there's something going on in the industry that Tyler and Josh are trying to get out of?
There's definitely something going on in the industry.
I have no doubt on that. I think Sony
It's
Music
the
is
Illuminati.
evil. We did not discuss the Illuminati, but that's a whole nother situation. I definitely think that there's something going on with Sony and other music industries just because, you sign those contracts and there's nothing you can do. And they can pretty much say, when I tell you to jump, you jump. And how's that fair, So, I'm trying to think, what was the other ones? Do you believe there's a cure for cancer?
Yeah.
I do. Any, like, AIDS and all that, I do think there is a cure for that. They just, population control.
Mm-hmm.
Don't release the cure so we can control the population. I'm just saying. And also think about this. Over in, like, Europe and other countries, how often do you hear about cancer being so bad? And AIDS. Think about it for a minute.
I mean, it's true, but since we're in America, we'd get the gist of America and not other world problems.
Yeah, but you also have to think it has something to do with the food that we get trapped into. Say you're hungry and you're driving down the road. Are you going to stop at the grocery store and buy organic vegetables, or are you going to stop at McDonald's on your way home and get a cheeseburger?
I mean, there's restaurants like that everywhere else.
In Europe and stuff, yeah, there is. But more times than not, and when they show you the videos, like if you watch videos on maybe Facebook, YouTube, and they kind of have the comparison of like America's food to European food, Europe's food looks so much healthier and so much better. Like school lunches in comparison. You see our school lunches beside the Japanese school lunch, and it's like they get really nice big fruit cups and healthy servings of food, and we get whatever.
Mystery meat.
Slop, basically. So I do think that there's something in our food that has a lot to do with things. And another thing is the gluten. Where did the gluten allergy come from? Because years before now, there's never been a problem with gluten, and then all of a sudden everybody's allergic to it. So what is gluten? Because obviously it's something that doesn't agree with most people. Just a thought. Yeah. Weird stuff that could definitely be discussed for a while. And from multiple different people. And, yeah. Cookie Monster. Anyway. We also got word that we are getting a New Zealand snack crate this month, which is very exciting. And of course, you know we have the original size, so that means more snacks from New Zealand. Definitely excited for this one. Hopefully, there will be no bad snacks, because bad snack last time was pretty bad.
It was very bad.
Why do you keep sticking your finger in a bottle of paint?
Why not?
Well, good point. Can you not? What else? We had some ideas that we'd come across. We were talking about doing a live feed on our Instagram, so stay tuned for that possibly here in the next couple of weeks. We also are going, we had told you before that we had a surprise for you guys. We still need to work on the surprise.
Yeah.
Which we definitely will start cracking down on that.
Yeah.
To make sure. Me? What? It's not just me. Anyway, we're definitely going to start doing that, and that could be next week's video. It could be the week after. And I think the week after that we should have Snack Crate. Hopefully. Stop playing with paint, child. So, again, we always appreciate the feedback, the comments on our videos, on our Instagrams, Twitter. If you have ideas, please share those with us, because we definitely take those into consideration, and we are definitely trying to work on our video topics. We've been getting some ideas from friends. This specific video was actually a recommendation from Carol Ann. So, hope you like it. And if you don't, you can blame her for it, because it's not our fault. So, yeah.
It was our fault. We decided to just take that consideration.
Well, it was the only recommendation we got, so here we are.
Here we go again.
Okay. Anyway.
Same old song again.
Any other announcements? Anything I forgot to say?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so I'll post our Instagram and our Twitter. Please follow us there. Like and subscribe if you'd like. We'd really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week. We're going to say bye now, so bye!